What is going on, comic fam? It's your boy, the bearded comic bro, and I am joined by comic creators Patrick Foreman and Joey Galvez. Welcome to the show.
What's
What's
going
up?
on?
What's up?
Man, it's good. Joey, this is our first time getting to hang out on screen. Patrick, welcome back, my friend.
I know, man. I missed you.
I know it's been a while. It's been a hot second because it had to have been when early in the first volume of Black Cotton days.
Yeah, it was. It was. That's why I hit you up. I was like, hey, man, hey, Black Cotton 2 coming out. Hey, we
Yeah.
got to get back on your show.
Absolutely. So, and Joey, welcome to the show for the first time.
Yeah.
Glad to have you.
Thanks for having me, man. Yeah, I'm a huge fan, man. I've seen you around. We have a lot of friends in common, and obviously I got a bunch of friends that talk to you, man. So and they love you. So I'm like, I need to get on that guy's show. So
Right. And so,
I,
well,
so
here
I
we are.
snuck in. I snuck in because Brian couldn't be here. So I was like, well, I snuck in here a little bit,
This
and
is this was Joey's plan all along. It was a Trojan horse. He's like, hey, Patrick, ask him to get Brian on the show, and then Brian's not gonna be able to come. And I was just like, boom, I'm in.
I already knew. I knew Brian's
I'm on to your
schedule.
game, Joey. I'm on. I'm
No,
on.
I know. I'm that one guy that slides in your DMs.
So you guys just y'all just wrapped up a campaign, Black Cotton Volume 2, and that's where we first got connected. First, I'm not even gonna go. I usually go like, oh, how'd you get in the comics, and how'd you come up with we've been there, we've done that. So let's revisit Black Cotton a little bit before we jump into some other stuff, because we got Black Cotton Volume 2 to talk about. We've got Remember to talk about. So much goodness. Talk to us about the Black Cotton Volume 2 campaign, though, that just wrapped up earlier in June here, or May.
Yeah,
Whatever, my times
it,
are weird.
yeah, it just ended last week, May 27th. And you know what? I gotta say thanks to all the fans who jumped on and showed Black Cotton love. We got funded in the first 4 days, and then we got over 100 backers. I think it was 106, total. It was phenomenal. Over 5,000. We got our first stretch goal. So it is amazing to one. That was our first Kickstarter to just get the love that individuals gave us, and we're looking forward to getting these masterpieces out to the people. We had two individuals who got the highest tier, so they're going to be drawn into Black Cotton issues 3 and 4. So we can't wait, to draw them in. One of them, I even tell you this, one of them's a lieutenant colonel in the Marine Corps. So just to have a lieutenant colonel in the Marine Corps, say, hey, I want to be in Black Cotton. That was pretty awesome. So we're definitely gonna, do him right, and we got a special spot, for him. Black Cotton, for all y'all, catching up to it. We actually volume 2 does not start exactly where volume 1 ended. We actually jump a whole year. So what you see is Zion. He is a detective now, and it's funny because you see some of the other cops who are disgusted that he's a detective now. They're like, you shoot a person, and cause you're a cotton, you get promoted. And so he's a detective, and you got Kia, who is still trying to sort of make her own mark in in the world. So she's actually trying to gentrify a low income neighborhood, but that's also where white kid gets killed, and Zion is the detective who is actually working that case. So what you have is that case is interfering with what Kia wants to do. So the two worlds are clashing
Yeah.
together. While you have the parents, Elijah and Jalissa, they're overseas handling business in Japan. And what is pretty cool about that is you actually get to see a different part of the world. You get to see Japan and how it has been influenced by other
Yeah.
cultures. So it's pretty cool, and we still got the Keshinomi twins in there, and they're causing hell. It is pretty, phenomenal. One of the biggest things you will notice, though, Volume One was in black and white. Volume Two's in color.
That was going to be one of the questions I was going to ask because yeah, all volume one was in black and white. Now we got volume two. I was reading the ash can that you sent. I'm like, wait, I was like, oh, okay. Cause I know you guys were very intentional with that first volume to have it the way you did. So like now to bring in the color and aspect of it, I was like, okay, this is going to be interesting now.
Yeah. The first one, it was not about color, and we didn't want people to get stuck on color. The story
Real quick, if someone's watching that hasn't gotten to pick up Black Cotton yet, what was a brief synopsis of volume one?
So what you had in volume one, the whole introduction is the premise is it is a reversal of social order. So what we're used to in our world right now, think of the social order that you're living in and sort of flip it. Mm-hmm. So what you have is a black family who is filthy rich. They're billionaires. They have old money, they're old money wealthy. And they have a son, Zion, who is the only one who is not going in the family business, but he is a cop and he shoots a minority white female. And what happens is Elizabeth, which is her name, she doesn't die. So now you have these three elements going on. The question is how's the Cottons, which is the black family, how are they handling it? So how is the rich handling it? Then how is the Nightingale, the Elizabeth and her family? Mm-hmm. How are they handling it? Because they're not rich. They're, we'll just say middle class America, family. How are they handling it? And then the third piece is society. How is society handling it? Because it's not something that they have just seen. It's something they've seen time and time again. So you'll have the riots that are going on. But what we sprinkle in there is it's a thought-provoking comic book because we sprinkle things in there. Like, for instance, on cover number 2, we have the riot going on, and one of them has a sign that says White Lives Matter. So it's something that you don't normally see in our world, but if you flip the social order, you're like, oh, that would be common. Yeah. And it makes you actually address what you're seeing. And we do that throughout the entire comic book. We have those little moments that will just make you sort of think. And me and Brian, throughout the creation, our implicit biases, we actually had to pull it out because we would see it coming and we're like, oh, I need to remove that. and that's the beauty about it. When you're reading it, you actually start to see and realize some of your own implicit biases, and you get to have that conversation with yourself and address that with yourself before having a conversation with anybody else, which is what we really like. We like a safe environment for people to do that instead of an environment where it seems like you have to defend yourself before you can ever even process, what's going on or what's being said. Mm-hmm. So that in a nutshell is what Black Cotton is about. You see those relationships happening, and then we sprinkle in the Keshinomi twins, which is the rival to the Cottons, and you sort of really feel that they don't like the Cottons and they're trying to eliminate every Cotton that is living. And we do a deeper dive into why that happens in volume 2.
Yeah. Joey, how did you get connected with Patrick and Brian and, working on projects with them?
Well, that's a funny thing. I was in your seat. I got my start doing the podcasting thing, and I was in there interviewing them, and we had this, me and my buddy had this, Scout Comics podcast, and we had them on a couple different times, and we just got to know them very well. And we would text message every other day, and became this friendship. And it's been a few years now. It's been going on 3-4 years now that we've known each other. It's been a minute, but and it just started kind of interviewing them and talking to them, and then within the last year or two, we just kind of they've been utilizing some of my services that I offer, helping people manage their Kickstarters and stuff like that. And that's kind of how we got together, because they were like, hey, well, Joey's already doing this. Why let's just let him do it. And we already trust him. And I'm glad they trusted me with this, because this stuff is their baby.
Yeah.
And I got to see things in the back end, like how cool it is, like being on the conversations, and sometimes they get heated, but what's cool about it is, man, they always come back and love one another, and appreciate one another, and say, you know what, you're right. And that's the one big thing about this team is they might butt heads on some things here, right? But they always come to a conclusion, and they always come to an understanding and an outcome that is best for the brand. And I'm like, man, it's really cool to sit back and kind of learn from them as well. Just kind of sit back and doing that. So that's how we got together, man. And I love it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And Patrick, I want to revisit something, because I cut you off in the middle. We were talking about how the first volume was in black and white, and how then we got color now in the volume 2. What was the change? What was the shift in the focus of that, or why you decided to make that move?
Oh, right. I that totally slipped my mind.
Well, no, it's because I cut you off, because I was like, wait, hold on. So I needed to bring it back.
But the first one was not about color. We especially our race, I'll say African Americans, we can definitely get bogged down into the shades of color. And we can get so done caught up on the shades of color that we miss the expressions that are happening. We miss the words that are being said. And if you miss those two elements, sometimes you can miss the entire message that has been, woven into this great work of art. So me and Brian, early on, we said in volume 1, let's not make it color. We want people to have to focus on the expressions, the words that are being said. We actually didn't want them to know who was black or who was white until like page 6 or 7. You get in, and then it hits you. You're like, hold up, what? So it's pretty cool, in volume 1 of having that entire element. But in volume 2, it is about color. It is about color, even from the title, White on White Crime. We definitely is still a thought-provoking comic book, but this is something that we wanted people to focus on when they were reading volume 2, because the question is this: what is black on black crime? What is white on white crime? It's really boils down to crime is crime. And even if you do research, most time where you live is going to be someone of that nature or color that is going to do the crime, because it's an environment thing. So it's not a black on black crime thing or a white on white crime thing. It's just a matter of environment.
Yeah.
And crime is crime. Crime's going to happen in an environment, period. There's not an environment on this earth that is, I'll say, that can be not touched by crime.
Right.
If somebody, sees an end, most likely they're plotting, trying to, figure out how they're going to, get it. So, just, we just want people to remove that language and just understand crime is crime, and let's if we can agree that crime is crime, then we can then actually look at the situation and figure out how we can solve, the issue instead of putting fire to the issue.
Right.
And Patrick, I want to jump in for a second. You said something earlier. You said that me and Brian didn't want to get hung up on these things, right? And I think that's how they work. Watching Brian and Patrick work together, they don't get hung up on a lot of things, and they don't let that thing. And that's, I love that you said that, because you put that into your work every single day, and I see that on the back end, and then to read the books and to see that you guys are actually putting that into the books as well, the way you guys work, and it's just it's pretty freaking cool to see that.
Yeah. Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it, bro. And you know what? It's pretty awesome. I'll say this. We have Joey, in our conversations, and it's so funny because he's 3 hours behind us. So me and Brian will be going back and forth with a conversation, knowing Joey is asleep.
Yep.
When he get up, he'll have like 25 messages,
No, I'm not even playing. There was one day I woke up to 54 messages. I said, "What are you guys talking about?" I said, I'm gonna read this later, guys. I'm gonna catch up.
You're like, let me read this novel of text responses, and then but now you have time to reflect on it, and you can come in and say, like, listen, you guys had this debate 3 hours ago in the future. Now I'm here, and
by the time I jump in on that conversation, I'm like, and they're like, "Oh no, you're far behind. We already moved on past that conversation."
Joe's like, let me chime in here. I'm like, nah, we go. We've already finished that. But one of the things I love though too about having these conversations and getting to hear and like having, people hop back on that have been on the show before. One of the things I remember from our first interview, Patrick, you and Brian talked about how you were so excited for the Black Cotton world to crease. Like you almost said, like, we're only seeing this corner of a map right now, and we're going all over. And then you just said, like, we got some in Japan this time. Like, it's like, I love that. I'm like, oh, it's like to see the follow through of like this vision that you guys have set out from the get go. Like, it is really a vision. Like, it's not just something like, oh, we hope this works, and then if it does, we'll add to the story. Like, no, you crafted a story you wanted to tell, but then you had in mind where you wanted to take it. I think that's really cool to see.
Yeah, and people like we were talking before, and Joey mentioned that we have sort of a 2025 plan out, and it's exactly that. So we jumped a year ahead for volume 2, but we're gonna do a one shot that is gonna be focused on that 1 year. So you're gonna know what happened in that 1 year. It's gonna be done in a one shot. But we're also doing a spinoff with the Keshinomiya twins. So you're gonna have a deep dive into the Keshinomiya twins and what they're doing and how the brother and sister are butting heads and everything. And then we're introducing somebody who is, we can't wait to introduce this person at the end of volume 2. And that's a whole nother game changer. That individual, oh man, I can't wait. I would say something, but Brian's not on.
No.
Brian,
that's why they brought me in here to stop. Listen, Patrick is known to be the spoiler of the group. So
I know, I remember. That's why when Patrick wants to come on, I'm like, come on, Patrick, again. That's he's why he's the Tom Holland of the group, right? Isn't Tom Holland the one dropping
Mark Ruffalo? The only reason they sent me was to babysit him, making sure that he wasn't spoiling nothing.
he's like, listen, like I've had to have reps on and stuff in the background to make sure stuff doesn't get spoiled. Brian's like, I can't make it. Joey, keep Patrick.
That's exactly what he did. That's not even a joke.
He's like, I know Greg's gonna get him to talk about stuff that he can't talk about yet, and I can't be there to see it.
Yeah. So don't do it, Patrick.
I can't. If Joey wasn't here, I would, Greg.
Oh man.
So, I mentioned earlier, you got another comic that I want to talk about. But before we shift,
Uh-huh.
if someone missed out on this campaign, is there chances that they can still get a copy of this somehow, or in the future is it going to be available? Like, say, I'm not saying this is the case, but say someone was going to have a creative team of Black Cotton on their channel to do an interview, and it just kept getting pushed back and back, and so they thought, oh, I'll just still back the Kickstarter, not realizing that it not has already funded and they missed their opportunity. I'm not saying that was
No,
me.
no, no.
He's like, I'm not saying that was me.
I'm just saying, if someone like me had that happen, is there ways that they can still back?
Here's what I will say is that with every Kickstarter, the creators always order a little bit more, simply because there's been times when if you order the exact amount and you get your shipment, there might be one, two, three, or maybe five that are really, not quality, that,
Yeah.
my corner might be nicked or whatnot. I'm a collector. So I am big on making sure that the comic books we send out go to the people in a collector's, pristine fashion. So we will order a little bit more, I'll say probably about 10, 20% more, just to make sure that we have, a solid copy of, books to send out that are in best condition. And we will have a small number, with us.
Yep.
So there could be a way that somebody could get
Okay.
one from our personal, stash. But we're not ordering a lot more,
Yep.
simply because of the Kickstarter. It's a Kickstarter. That's how it is. But I will say this too: there were a couple of whatnot individuals who did order. I think they ordered 10, a piece, so they
Okay.
will have them on theirs.
On the sales.
Uh, 7 7 Topher 757. That's his name. If you follow him on whatnot, you will see a couple pop up there.
Nice.
And then Lost Artifacts. His name's Will, but Lost Artifacts. So definitely follow them on whatnot, because they will also have, and this is a nice swing, they will also have the hip hop cover done by AJ Good, her name's Amy, but AJ Good, phenomenal artist. She did the hip hop cover for Remember. So and it's only on Whatnot. The hip hop cover will only be on Whatnot. So
and the store and volume 2 will have a direct market release as well through
right.
Scout. So
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's still coming out through the direct market with Scout Comics. So
Okay.
keep an eye out for that. It's about we don't know. I don't know exactly the exact date quite yet, but it will have a
well, and that's what I always want to know. Like, joking about missing Kickstarter, but the idea of, if someone's listening to this and like, man,
Mm-hmm.
I want to get that, or I didn't know about this. I love volume 1. Because my shop owner, he has volume 1 on his front rack that he, of trades and stuff. And I told him, he's like, man, when's volume 2 coming out? Like, I was like, soon.
And what the thing is, you will not be able to get these same covers through the direct market, though.
Yes,
like the Star Wars cover.
That Star Wars cover was fire, gang. Like, y'all, whoo, so good.
So
good.
that one is it's gonna be numbered, serialized, numbered. So definitely limited edition on that. But that cover, Marcelo killed that. It's a wraparound cover too. And the Kickstarter was actually a double issue. It was issue number 1 and number 2. So obviously when it comes in the stores, it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right.
So but yeah, oh man, that Star Wars cover is.
So if you're like Patrick out there, you can spoil issue 2 when you get it through direct market if you guys back the Kickstarter.
So good. So transition to like right into Remember. You talked about it. I know we talked backstage, coming out under the BCU imprint. Like what's BCU, and where are you guys going then with this new comic that is going to be a Kickstarter, I think in July, that you talked about Remember. Let's just head into that whole world wherever you guys want to go.
Okay. Yeah. So BCU is stands for Black Cotton Universe, and Black Cotton Universe BCU presents. That's what it's really you're gonna see. Just like on the cover of Remember, it'll say BCU presents. What me and Brian are doing is we have a lot of creative concepts and stories that we're working on. So they're not in the Black Cotton world, meaning it's not social, flipped. It's just different books. So we said, you know what? Let's do BCU presents, and people know it's coming from the creators of Black Cotton, and we're gonna launch them all under BCU presents. The beauty is, Remember, it's the first one that's gonna be coming out of BCU presents, and it's also we partnered with Geek Collective, Joey, to so you're gonna see BCU presents and Geek Collective. Geek Collective is utilizing all of their capabilities to bring it out. So it is a phenomenal 2-year project that we're doing. You're gonna see several stories come out. It's gonna have horror, it's gonna have slasher, it's gonna have thriller, it's gonna have even drama. So it's just a thing that we're excited about, especially to be doing it with Joey Geek Collective. It's gonna be Kickstarters. So you're gonna see some Kickstarters that come out at the beginning, just one at a time, because we want to make sure that we get the previous Kickstarter out to the people before we start the next one. And then probably in 2024, once we get rocking and rolling, you'll see them overlap, But yeah, that's BCU presents, Black Cotton Universe presents. But Remember, the first one that's coming out, which will probably be late July when it actually, the Kickstarter starts, because we just finished with the Black Cotton Kickstarter, so we want to make sure we got everything, the prints and everything done. Remember's a crime thriller. So what you have now is you have 2 female cops, Halea and Amy, who are investigating a murder that happened on a young lady. But what we find out real quick is that Halea is kin to the girl who got killed. And she's not the first one in the family to be killed. For the last 2 years, members of her family has been killed, just been, basically, taken out. So she's always been a step behind, and she's trying to basically solve this mystery that's happening in her family before it gets to her. So it's pretty freaking phenomenal. What you have is told with present and flashbacks. So you got 2 stories going at the same time, but what you learn is that the 2 stories crash into each other at a certain point, and that's when everything comes together. You're like, oh snap. So you got a killer in there who is only communicated with through letters. You have Halea and Amy, who are a step behind, always, trying to solve the murders that are happening, and then you're seeing the flashback of a tragedy that is happening to another family by Halea's family. So it's a lot that's going on, but it's freaking phenomenal with the artwork by Marcelo Santana.
It's fantastic. That artwork is top notch.
I told Marcelo, I told him, I said, hey, create a masterpiece. And so you got, and here's how it all started, man. So I told Brian, I said, bruh, I got a concept, for a book. And he said, you know what? You should go ahead and do this. This should be your first one solo out. And so Brian's the editor. Damian Beckham, phenomenal writer. I mean, he's done work with Nottingham. That's how Brian met him, because he won a contest with Mad Cave and he got to write, which is out now, the Nottingham. He wrote, a story in there. But then he also does his own comic book called Worlds Away, which is a phenomenal read too. So if anybody is out there, definitely check out Worlds Away. And he just released a new one that's on Kickstarter right now called Try Not to Get Killed, right, Joey? I think it's Try Not to Get Killed.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, but phenomenal writer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this great.
And what's cool, I think Worlds Away is getting a direct market release as well. So very, very cool.
Yeah. So we got him. We got Marcelo Santana, who's the illustrator and the colorist, who did just an amazing job. I mean, for real. Remember is gorgeous. Just freaking gorgeous. And then we got, Brian, who's the editor, Zamora, who is the letterer, and you're hearing a lot of names who are already part of the Black Cotton team. Right. So that's one thing that we pride ourselves in doing. We keep the team together and we keep the team employed. And then we brought Joey, into the fold. And Joey, he's a graphic designer, so a lot of stuff that you see, like on the inside, the credits page, that was, from the brain of Joey. And it's freaking beautiful. And the story is awesome. And I'll tell you that this is funny. So it was initially one book, and Brian and Damien, they started asking me some questions, right? So when they asked me the question, I was like, oh, yeah, man, that's in book number 2.
And that's how it happens.
Yeah, that's how it happens. So let's see, David asked me another question. I was like, oh, yeah, I wrapped that up in book number 3, So let's see, I had to, I was writing the concept for book number 2 and book number 3. So yeah, so it's a 3 graphic novel book. And what we're doing is we're releasing it actually both ways. So on Kickstarter, we're releasing it as a graphic novel. But when you read it, you'll notice it says part 1, part 2, part 3. That's because it's actually a 3 issue. We split up into 3 issues too. And we let the Whatnot, market actually, hey, we got covers for 3 issues, and we let them do that because the freaking covers are phenomenal. It is crazy. We even have a mature cover. So it's
which has a sneak peek in the ash can. So we also have a limited amount of ash cans that we printed, and what we did was, normally when you read an ash can, they give you like the first 12 pages or whatever, get you in, right? We dropped you right in the middle of right at the end of chapter 2. So
Yeah.
you see the last 12 pages of chapter 2, and we throw you right in the middle of the meat of the story. So you're gonna see this amazing story kind of play out, and you're just gonna want more because of how gorgeous it is and where we throw you in at. So we ain't playing with this one. So I'm going to be hitting the Phoenix Fan Fusion in May or in June. So whenever this is out, but I'm going to be hitting up the spot, and we're going to have the first handful of issues there going to be physical. So if anybody is listening to this, or if it has already happened and I still have a few, hit me up and hit up Patrick. We'll get you guys some ash can copies. We'll definitely send you one. And so that you can have a physical copy, but this thing
Don't
is
you, don't
gorgeous.
you have one? Don't you have one loose around there?
Right over here. Just
Oh yeah, yeah.
Nice. That's that's so cool to see, like, this, you know, you guys establish yourself with Black Cotton, and then you got the brand, and got the BCU now, which, at first I thought you were like, that's why you reached out to me, because it's a bearded comic universe, but apparently that's not the case. But I'll let it slide.
we can create a multiverse, man. Who knows?
So Joey, what you with Geek Collective? I know you're working on graphics, and designs of a lot of this stuff. For someone that, if my viewers or listeners haven't gotten to know you, Joey, what's your kind of connection with Geek Collective, and then with just in comics and what you're doing right now with what we've already been talking about?
So like I said earlier, I started out doing the podcast thing, man, and I started out because I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge collector. I got all these comic books around me, and I just wanted to talk to the comic book creators, right?
Yeah.
So I started getting on review sites or taking reviews and then I started getting I had Image hitting me up for reviews. I had all these other things that I was doing these reviews for, and then I started getting these creators like reaching out to me, which was really cool. So that's kind of how I got my in there. And I started just kind of getting to know the ins and outs of this world, right? And then I started doing this marketing thing. I worked for Scout Comics as their social media marketer for about a year. I was working with another place called the Comic Book Shopping Network. So I was doing some social media marketing stuff in the world, and that's how I kind of got a lot more contacts and a lot more people that I knew, a lot more retailers, and I started getting to know that side of the business too, because we were doing sales and that kind of stuff. So so naturally I was like, well, I fell into this business where people wanted me to promote their stuff, and they wanted to pay me for it. I was like, no, just do it for free. They threw me tips and stuff. So I was like, well, I guess I can make this into a business, right? So I was like, why not do this? So that's what I started doing, and I had this natural talent. I just did creating graphics for my own stuff, and we had I, like I said, I came from the podcast world, and I had a podcast network, so I created graphics for all the shows and stuff like that, and posts and things like that. So I just kind of naturally just moved all that to, like, designing comics, and I just kind of figured out how to do that. And luckily I've had all these amazing people around me who are willing to teach me things, and like Patrick and Brian and all kinds of other people. I work with the guys over at Top Hat Studios that does Grandma Chainsaw and Pocus Hocus. So and which Dave Lentz and stuff. Dave Lentz is a big, huge. He's my sensei. He taught me a lot of the stuff that I know with the graphic stuff. So it's just, I just kind of put my foot in the door, man, and I just never let that door shut, and that's kind of how I did it, man. And I'm freaking, it's freaking crazy that I'm here today. But man, I'm one of those guys that's not gonna stop, right? I'm just gonna keep going no matter what. So I got my foot in the door, man, and I'm here to stay.
Yeah, and man, Dave's a good person to have as a sensei, because Dave did the logo. I'm pointing over my shoulder, but it's your shoulder. He did Grandma Chainsaw logo, right? Okay.
Yeah, he designed that work. So yeah, he's the one that showed me, all the ropes to designing and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm not, listen, he has 20, almost 30 years under his belt, right? There's a reason why he's doing, making the money he is in this industry, right? But yeah, dude, like, when I get stuck on some stuff, I'm like, dude, how the heck do I fix this? So we kind of like try this, kind of thing. So he's a really cool dude to have around.
Yeah. Patrick, Joey, I want to respect both of your guys' time. As we wrap this up, we've talked about Black Cotton Volume 2, White on White Crime. We've talked about we've talked about the BCU. Is there anything that we have not gotten to touch on yet that you're like, dude, we gotta mention this?
No. I would just say that people definitely stay in contact with us. Either go to Black Cotton Comic, our website, which is blackcottoncomic.com, or IG Black Cotton Comic, Facebook Black Cotton Comic. If you hit us up there, you will stay in the loop. If you hit up Geek Collective, you will stay in the loop. If you're at the Phoenix show, definitely hit up Joey, because those done ash cans, I'm telling you right now, and Badass, right? Or
Badass Girls. Yes, we have another. We have another. Well, Geek Collective has another book that we dropped called Badass Girl. We it did not fund, which that's fine. Things happen. We just we reel from that, and we kind of take that if we the missteps, and we fix that, right? So we're going to go back. We have a limited amount of these books that we're going to have at the show too, and we're going to sell those there. We're going to have 25 copies of that one. And we're just going to come back in September, and we're going to bring back some amazing stuff for you guys for that one too. So we're gonna do all kinds of stuff. We have a lot of this stuff lined up with these guys. We have tons of stuff that we're lining up with Top Hat Studios. So yeah, if you guys want any news that is coming out with comic books, you guys like Top Hat Studios, Black Cotton, you guys like Badass Girl, follow Patrick, follow me, follow all those guys, but you're definitely going to want to make sure you keep an eye on Geek Collective, because that's where all the stuff's going to be coming out of.
Is Geek Collective, is that what they search? Twitter, Instagram? Is it a website? Like what's everything?
It's at _ Geek Collective. Okay. You can do that, and that's everywhere. Or geekcollective.net.
Okay. And I'll have all the links. I'll have all the links that Patrick and Joey have talked about in the description of this video, or if you're listening on via podcast, they'll be in there as well.
Cool. One last thing that I will say, hey, for anybody listening to this, broadcast, if when the Kickstarter starts remember, if you put in the comments, Bearded Comic Bro, that's all you gotta say. Bearded Comic Bro, I'm gonna sing you something special.
Yeah. There you go. There you go,
gang.
So it's something that nobody else would get.
Look, he's making me work already. Now I have to write that down in my notes to make sure that happens.
Like two people from Bearded Comic Bro in a comment, and I'm like, why is this happening?
I know. I was like, oh, we got to give him something.
There you go. I love it, man. I love it. Get that Bearded Comic Bro exclusive content that you can get.
How about this? Use the hashtag Bearded Comic Bro, and we'll get you guys. So do that in the comics of the Kickstarter of Remember. When it goes live, we'll even let everybody know too when it goes live. Maybe we'll come back as it goes live, and we'll run that hashtag, and we'll do something fun for you guys.
Yes, man. Joey, Patrick, thank you both just for taking time out of your busy schedules to just find some time to talk about comics with me, about something that we all love talking about, and I'm looking forward what you guys are putting out there. I'm so excited to see what is coming next.
Hey, you guys aren't even gonna. You guys are gonna flip. You guys are gonna flip. It's gonna be nuts.
Hey, we appreciate you, bro.
Yeah.
And definitely when you finish reading it, let me know what you think,
dude. I can't wait. So I'm excited. So
get us some quotes. We'll throw it on.
This is why I do interviews, because I'm the worst writer. Like people like Blake's like, I got pull quotes here. I'm like, man, I don't. I'm like, it's really good. Like that's
there we go. That's perfect. That's all
people like make these like masterful quotes of like, oh, it's pulling of Isaac Asimov and all of this, and and I'm just like, I liked it. Like it didn't suck. It was really good. Like I'm like that. They can't put that on, but
there you go.
I couldn't put it down.
So, well, gang, with that being said, I hope you guys go back, check out Black Cotton Volume 2 when that stuff starts to drop. If you missed out on the Kickstarter, if you haven't gotten to go into the Black Cotton world, pick up Volume 1, check it out. Go back, watch previous interview as we talk about Volume 1 a lot. But man, go support this Remember Kickstarter. It sounds like a blast. Like I said, I just right before hopping on this, I saw the pages. I'm like, man, it looks beautiful. But with that being said, gang, hopefully you can find some time this weekend to curl up, grab a book, and nerd out. Peace.
Peace.